you're single or you're not single, you got your single friends and you want to take some notes for them, join us in the space. Good morning. Good morning. How many people we have in the Facebook world, John?
I missed that?
No, I said, how many people do we have on Facebook?
Oh, they're just coming in, but you can keep greeting them.
Yes, awesome. Cool. Anybody else? Good morning, everyone. If you're just getting in the space, please grab a pen and a pad, some water. Get settled in with us. Good morning. I see we have Z in the space. He's a regular. Good morning, everyone in Facebook. Let's see, what does Z have to say? Hey, good morning. We got Ebony in the space. Stacy, good morning. Right. Again, if you're just joining us in the space, grab a pen and pad, get comfortable, get some water. We're going to have 30 minutes of fun, some laughter, some real life stuff. Thank you again for joining us this morning. Let's see who else is in the waiting room. Oh, Kathy. All right, we ready?
Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, together, we're learning, discerning. We're striving. Together, together, we're leading, connecting, transforming. Together, together.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's beautiful to see these faces. Good morning to everyone in the Facebook space. If you want to, you can take yourself off camera. We have a small group today, so in the Zoom space at least. So let's have some fun with that and do some sharing out that, we don't have to write in the chat too much. and let's just have normal dialogue. So today we're going to talk about being single, but in the virtual space, right? In COVID-19. So the thought of this came from living single, and just I started playing around with the title, like we are living single in a COVID kind of world. And what does that mean for us? It's not what it looked like before. My initial thought was people before thought being single meant so many other things, right? Especially if you were in a relationship or you were married with children, you might think, oh, that person has so much freedom to come and go as they please. They don't have to worry about partners and their kids and all of that. But now I've noticed after COVID, people are really checking on their single friends, right? Like, are you good? I know you're in quarantine by yourself. You can't do what you usually do. So now people don't envy you. They're like, are you okay? Checking in on you, right? So today we're just going to look at some ways that we can find the joy in just being in quarantine or being by ourselves during this time. Some people like myself were pushed into this position, right? So God said, no, you need this time alone, and ripped the Band-Aid off and helped me move along in my own process. And so we're going to share some of those things with you, just letting you know what I went through, how I managed that, what things I put in place to help me stay grounded during that time, and where I am now, and what manifested out of those things that I practiced. So also want to remind you all that this was my journey, is my journey. So you'll hear things that I did, and I don't want you to think you're doing single wrong, right? So if you're not doing any of the things that I did or I do, it doesn't mean that you're doing this wrong. It means that now is the opportunity for you to take down some ideas, implement them in your life if you choose to, and move forward with that, okay? So first, I want to start with the first question with the theme, single or not, which living single character would you say you were or you are right now, and why?
Oh, wow.
Hi, Teresa. No, keep yourself off mute. I want it to be a regular conversation. So take about 30 seconds. Think about which character. Think back to the show if you've ever watched it. So there's these Black people. It's like the Black version of Friends, living in this pre-gentrified Brooklyn area of Brooklyn together, flourishing in different ways. And you know, they all bring their own characteristics to the scene. And who can you identify with, if anyone? So Kathy, you said Sinclair. Kathy, you want to come off and tell us why you think you would relate to Sinclair?
I just think that my personality is like her. She just she was always like woo woo woo.
Right. I can see that, Kathy, and your bubbly spirit. I can see that too.
You soothe people and make people feel better. So
Yes.
I think that I'm like that. Yes, definitely.
Awesome. All right, who else? Teresa, did you figure out who you were or who you are?
Yeah, I guess it would have to be Sinclair. I'm trying to go through all of the characters, and I don't remember everyone's name. I know Kim Fields. I don't remember her name. I definitely Regine, not Maxine, not Queen Latifah. So it would have to be Sinclair. She has a certain amount of, I guess, like naivety, and definitely during this pandemic, I was really challenged. Just the whole scope of it, feeling raw, just not really understanding the science behind it, but being really challenged with the emotional aspect of it, and just not understanding like, how could this happen, where, you know, why is this happening? And yeah, just being really sensitive around this time. So I would have to go with Sinclair.
Okay, awesome, thank you. And who else do we have? We had Khadijah. Stacy, you said you would be Khadijah. Why would you say Khadijah? So a very strong character.
I think I have a lot of the same sort of snarky responses to things that sometimes has. I often appear like Sinclair, but I think I'm more Khadijah inside.
Gotcha. Thank you for sharing. Aisha, what did you say? In the theme song in the background. You were too young to understand the show, but remember some dynamics and was drawn to entertainment value. Awesome. Great. Thank you all for sharing. So what we're going to do now, I just want you to spitball some words out. What are some low vibrational words you think about? What comes to mind when you think of single, someone being single? You could drop those in the chat, or you could say it out loud here in the space. So the Facebook people, what do you think about low vibrationally when you think about someone being single? So we have alone, lonely. What else?
Bad attitude.
Bad attitude. Gotcha. Desperate. And think back to when you were single. If you aren't now, what came to mind for you, or what are you thinking about now? Bitter, not connected. Awesome. What else?
Hard.
Hard. Okay, great. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna walk you through something I just came up with, just working through my journey, and figured out what does this process really look like from beginning to end, or where I am right now. So I'm going from the breakup to the breakdown and finally getting to my breakthrough. So someone had to be the impetus behind that for me to find out who I was, and I had to find out the hard way. So I'm going to give a little background for that as well. My partner proposed to me last year in December, and just a few days after that, we broke it off. Whatever the case was, I didn't see it coming, and I told myself nothing's harder than a heartbreak that you just didn't see coming, right? So with that, I had to just figure life out really quickly. I had to adult on my own really quickly, and by the time March came, we were about to go into our quarantine, and we were still living together. So we were navigating living together, but not being together, and just going through a proposal that we broke off. So many different emotions going on there. And from there, the day before we went on lockdown, she moved out. It was like God ripped the Band-Aid off and said, just stop doing this. Let her go, let her move out. And it just so happened that the leasing offers worked around that time schedule, and she was gone. So I then had to deal with being alone in a home that we shared together, and then working from home and managing a team from home and just being remote. So all of these things happened at one time, and COVID amplified these things for me. And so I had to figure out what I was going to do. A new version of myself was going to come out of this whole situation that I did not know about. And I had to find out who I was by removing someone and some things that made me feel comfortable, where I could hide behind those things. And now it was just me, and I was exposed, and I was alone. And so I had to dig deeper and find out what it was. So I was alone with my thoughts. I was alone with just everything. And I had to balance all of those things out. And so that was the learning curve for me. The last time I was single, I was 15 years old. So from 15 to 26, I was in a relationship. And then right after that, I was in a relationship with my ex-fiance. So I went into this world as a 15-year-old. I operated as a 15-year-old teenager who didn't know anything about dating anymore, who didn't want to know about dating. I didn't want to be single. I didn't want any of those things. So I had to learn how to bring my 30-year-old self to the space, and to operate as a grown woman, and pay your bills by yourself, and cook dinner for just you, and downsizing on certain things. So from these different nuances that were birthed out of being alone and being single, I realized that being single is not synonymous for lonely. I wasn't lonely after a while once I started to learn my likes and my dislikes, and I started to get into a groove of what I really appreciated about life. I was forced to just sit down and be still with myself, and that was the hard part. So one of the things I did was start making routines for myself. So I didn't want to get lost in the bed and be depressed and so sad. So I made sure I was up at a certain time every morning, that I made breakfast for myself, that I set up at my computer at a certain time, and just to keep a rhythm going so that I had something to look forward to in the morning, right? So I also moved into just setting up rituals as well. So I got back to my rituals. I did the cutting the cord, which we'll talk about a little later today. And I cut the cord on that relationship. I had to allow myself the space to mourn and to cry, and to just say that was that's what it was, and I release it, so it is, right? And so the next thing I also had to do was just learn to love myself. And I wouldn't even say learn to love myself again. I don't even think I've ever had that time to do that until now. And so with that, I took myself on dates. I scheduled regular waxes, massages, spa days, lunches, whatever I could do during quarantine. And I made that happen because I had to dig myself up out of this feeling of depression, or I wasn't good enough for this person, and that was where my value lied, and that wasn't where my values were. And so I also usually turn to burying myself into work. And if you can relate to some of these things, please just drop it in the chat or raise your hand. I buried myself into work and I escaped that way. But then I found that with me doing acts of service for other people, that helped me with my healing. So I wasn't just putting my grief on the shelf. I was coming back and I was flourishing. I was making things happen. I'm a generator. And now I had a space and a time to generate these new ideas and to help other people do the same thing. So what did you say there, Aisha? I don't think I had time to now. Yes, awesome. So Aisha, can you come up? We're gonna take a pause. Tell me what you think about that. I don't think I had the time to now. What were you saying?
Good morning. I'm activating my voice for the first time, so thank you for calling me up.
Yes.
Into the chat. What do I think about that? So at 35 years old, I realized that I've been in and out of relationships, and the running theme is, me wanting to protect myself, always being defensive, me attracting the low vibration of being a survivor of domestic violence. And also another theme is just me wanting to take care of others and, before I take care of myself. And I recently released my relationship, I would say shy of 3 weeks. And what I noticed in this short amount of time is that the healing has been quickened, right? The conversations are about me now, the healing process. And I'm not healed, and the healing is not happening faster, but the focus and the attention and how I'm negotiating my time. I'm buying things on Amazon for myself, blue lights and, healing products and, looking at like, oh, I should pull that foot spa out of from under the bed, and soak my feet tonight. Or let me order this $20 candle, not because it's in the budget, but because that's cute,
Right.
I want that. Buying, things like that. And taking more time with friends. I went on a nature walk with one of my coaches on Sunday. So just really realizing, wow, not to do the shoulda, coulda thing, but if I would have did this so long ago, ... Right. And here I am knowing that what I did not do, I can still go back and create that for myself. So the quality is so much more. I'm just so grateful to sit in this. It's uncomfortable. I'm very uncomfortable.
Yes.
I'm very uncomfortable. But for some reason, just something as simple as laying on a silk pillow, versus being like, oh, I got to do both of our laundry. I don't have no pillow.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That is, it's very rewarding. And I realized like, oh, I actually know what my skin feels like. I know what it looks like to have leftover groceries because I budgeted that for myself, as opposed to like, where is my ginger tonic shot? So just giving, gratitude and thanks for that, and inviting myself to continue to look and journal and just be a part of this experience, and thanking you for this honesty.
yes, right. And also bearing it to other people, like, hey, this is me and I'm single and I'm working through it. This is my journey, my story, and this is what it is. So don't judge me, right? And it's hard to be in that discomfort, and that discomfort is what pulls you out of the norm, as if we weren't in this, we were already shifted from our own normal. And then it was like, okay, let me throw something else on top of that. I'm going to remove this person, this thing that you're so used to, that's embedded in your daily routines, that's embedded in your life. And I'm going to force you to be even more uncomfortable so I can see more change, right? And so with that, you, like you're saying, I'm trying these new things. So I love how you're looking at it. It's all about perspective. You can say, I'm down, I'm lonely, I miss you. I was at the point where I was like, please, baby, please don't leave me, right? And now I'm like, oh God, I'm so glad that, she pushed this, because you can't see it during the storm, but after, you're like, I needed this to happen in my life. I didn't know who I was. And that's something that was brought up into the conversation before the breakup. Like, do you even know who you are? Are you hiding behind me and other people? And I was. And I didn't realize, how much I was doing that. And I love how you said that you were, doing other things. So as myself, I was investing in my spirit. You're investing in your spirit and your quality of life. I did therapy. I paid for hypnotherapy. I went to a psychiatrist on a normal basis again. And I started taking my medication the way I should be. So I didn't feel depressed and anxious as much anymore. So I had to work on my quality of the body that I'm operating from in order to even show up every day. And learning to love yourself, you then bring those things into your next relationship. It increases your self-value and how you show up in a relationship. And people notice that. So I just want to thank you again for always jumping on when I pick on you, and for you being transparent with us too. And yours is very fresh. So I can only imagine.
Can I share in 20 seconds one more thing?
Go ahead, please.
Thank you. I think the most challenging part for me, just on a physical level, is one of my most dominant love language is physical touch. And so I'm like a cuddle bunny, honey.
Yes.
And my partner, she was very warm-blooded. And so we didn't need no sheets. I was like, just cuddle me. And that healing, when we were at our highest vibration, that warm healing was just one of my favorite things. And so that's the thing that I really miss the most. But I got me a body pillow, y'all.
Exactly. So, okay, I don't got a boob, but I got a body pillow, right?
And I got me a weighted blanket. And so that really, that feeling can be not replaced ever, because that's one of my favorite memories. But that feeling of comfort, it's like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. Wipes here. Thank you.
But I love how you figured it out. You're like, forget this. I'm getting a body pillow. I'm going to throw my leg over something, okay? Because this works for me. And that takes me into my next part of a quarantine boo. Sometimes you just need a quarantine boo. And I felt like I got to learn people better in quarantine. There was no dating, going out. There was no physical touch, which is also my love language. So that was a struggle. But we had to get creative. We did virtual movie nights and just sat up on Zoom and talked to each other and talked about life and what our goals were. So me just talking to different people this way, because we have this barrier, but it also didn't stop us from doing it. And I know some people are like, Zooms are so awkward. But if you're putting in the time and the effort to just figure out who people are, line them up until we get out of this, and then you know what you're working with and who you want to go on an actual date with after all of this goes away. But Alicia, that's what I thought about too, just having these conversations with people through the computer, and it's like, I really want to throw my leg over you, but this sucks. So having to maneuver all of those things. And lastly, just working on my throat chakra. I am very soft-spoken and I don't always speak up, and I didn't, but I started advocating for myself. I started advocating for my team at work, and I started to say things differently. So I went from she broke up with me to she released me from this relationship so I can generate in my purpose. So I always like to tell people there's power in the tongue and the things that you say, the energy that you put behind it. So I went from she broke up with me and she broke up with me, can you believe it, to, you know what, this had to happen and I needed to be released from that so that I can flourish and I can move on in life and find out who I really am. And that leads me into what this manifested. So I just found joy in being me and being with me, and people had experienced me for 30 years and I'd never experienced myself. So when I had this time, I experienced what they experienced times 10. Like, I was behind closed doors. So if you thought you knew me before, I was even sillier behind closed doors. I was singing and dancing around the house and just doing me. I had no one to worry about looking at me, because if I did, I felt eyes were on me, I wasn't going to be myself. So I was able to be that person sliding down the living room with my socks on and just being happy to be here and figuring life out. I had to tell God, all right, we're going to figure this out together. And that's what faith looks like. I figured out what it looks like. It means not having any worry and just letting him take control. So I learned what I liked and what I disliked. I learned how to fully bring myself to different spaces and how to change different hats and just present myself a certain way, because I had this newfound confidence. I was feeling myself. I was completely feeling myself. And I was like, damn, I've been this dope for this long and I didn't even know it. So talking to new people and getting to know myself and jumping into different things. So I wasn't playing small anymore. I was joining different committees. I had so many business opportunities coming to me, money coming to me for different things that I was doing. And I was really flourishing. And I took this situation, which I could have still been in this depression, still being in the bed right now. And the hardest part is showing up. Once you show up, it's like, what you going to do with it now? The ball is in your court. How are you going to change the situation to work in your favor? Are you going to go low vibration or are you going to go with the high vibrational option? And so we're going with the high vibration, right? So knowing like just how amazing you are, how dope you are, taking this time to play, just play. Let your inner child play. I started making baths. I started making candles. I started making everything I could find, all these kits on Amazon. I had time, I had me, and that's all I needed. And so, like I said, more money came my way, more opportunities at work and other opportunities to lead people. So that was amazing. And I found out who I was, like I said. So I went from this breakup to this breakdown and finally my breakthrough of where I am now. And so I'm coaching and helping other people do the same. And I hope that some of these things are helpful for you to implement into your life. So I'm going to take some questions now. If anybody has a question about anything that was said, and we can also do open dialogue from there. And so Z, I see you said I was single for a couple of decades before the lockdown and just embarking on a new relationship when the lockdown started. It's been very interesting, but necessary. We've had to get to know each other, essentially long distance. Yes, I'm actually very grateful for that. I hear you. Cynthia, not all storms come to disrupt, but some come to clear your path. Yes. Awesome. Cynthia, can you talk more about that?
Good morning. Good morning. I just loved where you and Aisha are. I can relate on many levels. Having to release a relationship now 3 years, but the memory is nothing like the pain of it at the time. So right. I had to say growth. And at the time you do say all those things, don't leave. But if you're truthful with yourself, it's not really what you needed for that time, but not where your future is. Yeah. And now coming out of it, like you said, you realized, oh my God, I'm so glad that ended because I wasn't living in my truth. I was settling. That's something I say. I was settling. I was settling for what I didn't get and just accepting what I had. And I wasn't happy. And it wasn't until the separation, and then you get to, like you say, enjoy yourself and learn who you really are. When you go into a new relationship, you use your throat chakra and you speak up for what you really want. And it's not just for you, it's for them too.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Yes. And yes, so I also realized that she wasn't happy. I was happy and I was ready to keep it moving. And I also realized maybe I wasn't fully present in our relationship to notice the signs. And so I turned it back to myself and I really, didn't have the space to do that and saying, something must be wrong with me. I'm a terrible person, a terrible girlfriend. Why wouldn't anybody want to be with me? You wanted to spend the rest of your life with me and now you don't. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? And I took a look on the inside to see what is not wrong with me, but what are some areas of growth. And like you said, Cynthia, using different words, growth is different from saying something is wrong with me. And learning how to use that positive language during the storm to help you grow out of it. Because if you're low vibrational in your speech and what you say all the time, you're going to stay low. So how do you get higher? And how do you raise yourself up and elevate yourself in that space? So thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else want to share? So I also want you to maybe drop in the chat, what are some things you heard today that you could see yourself implementing in your own lives moving forward? Or if you can share it with a friend. Excuse me, if you're not single. So let's drop some things in the chat. Or Aisha, I'm going to pick on you. Or Teresa, Stacy, Z, what are some things that you could put in place or that you can offer to a friend who might need this right now, who might be in the position of in a low vibrational space during COVID.
You pick my name. You want me to say something else again?
Yes. Besides the body pillow, what else could you get to help you make it through?
You know what? Date night. I'm hot. You know, I'm really cute and I need to go out with myself. So let me go out with myself this weekend and dust off my party dresses. And I'll send you a picture, you know, of me being out with myself, even if it's just a picnic at the park or something. So definitely that. And I would say journaling this experience. I journal every day, and journaling this experience so that we can track our growth, we can track our experience. And really sitting in the mirror. Literally sitting in the mirror.
That's important because I find myself trying to reflect and say, what was this journey like? And you're right, had we been recording it, had I been journaling it the whole time, I would have this buildup of what I've gone through to share with people. So I love that idea. Okay, so do we want to move into the offer, John? Or yes, we did. Awesome. So like I said earlier, I did a cord cutting ritual that I do, and I hold these monthly. So I wanted to invite someone from this group to join a free session because this is where I went to mourn that relationship, to cut the cord on the energy, to cut the cord on any low vibration energy, any energy I had towards that person, towards myself, anything negative that was wrapped around that relationship or that person. I cut the cord on it and I cut it again and I cut it again with another ex. So you continuously can do this in order to bring about new energy and to just cut off what you had before and start new. So I like to do this during the new moon so that we're starting fresh. We have another few days to manifest those things that we cut the cord on. So our raffle winner is, I think you said Marie. Is that correct, Bielka?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Marie Lavelle?
If you're able to come off of mute and accept Marie, if you'd like to accept the offer.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning, Marie. I'm so excited to have you. So I'm happy to have you. Glad you won the raffle. 8 is my favorite number. So you'll be joining us for a free cord cutting session on the 30th if you are free, and if not, if you think someone else might benefit from it, please let me know and I'll connect with you after the session to make sure you can get in. All right?
Oh, okay, thank you.
Awesome, thank you. How to mute people. Okay, there you go. Yes, and so this is my contact information. If you like, you could follow me, Shantel Gamble, on Facebook, on Instagram. I am at Braveheart Coaching, and my email is coachshan@bravehearthealth.org. So again, I'm an integrative health coach, and I do different sessions with people. So cord cutting is monthly, but we also do some other sessions. So if you follow the page, you can see what's coming up. I also have spiritual baths that I gave away on my last session, and they are for creativity, anxiety, protection, love, and intimacy. So we have a few different ones. Actually, let me drop that in the chat as well. So my website is bravehearthealth.co, if you'd like to take a look at those. All right, any last minute questions? Anybody want to throw anything out there? Good. All right. Bielka, are you going to introduce Shawnee for tomorrow?
Sure. So tomorrow we have none other than our founder, Shawnee Benson Gibson, and we are going to be celebrating her birthday. Yay, yay, yay. So we invite you all to join us back in the Wake Up Space tomorrow at 7 a.m. Invite a friend, family, share the information. We are sure to have a great time on tomorrow. So be back to join us. And then we have our schedule. our weekly schedule in the live Zoom space now, Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 7 to 8:30, and Monday and Wednesdays from 7 to 7:30. So we do stream live on Facebook as well into our Facebook group. If you're not a member of that group, I've dropped the information inside of the chat where you can follow us there as well. And then we just want to thank you for joining us today, and we invite you to keep in touch with us. We have, our links here to register for our Zoom space. The bit.ly WUE community will bring you directly to our Facebook group. We are on Instagram. We are on YouTube. We have our email there if you want to send us suggestions, or if you want to volunteer and join our admin staff, that is where you would send that information as well. So please feel free to contact us and stay in touch. And at this time, we just want to say thank you to Shantel for her powerful presentation today. So we are going to unmute everyone, and we're going to shower her with love.
Thank you. And yes, you can sign up.
Thank you, Shantel. That was great.
So
Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to share.
Thank
Thank you. In a 2020 kind of world, I'm glad I got myself.
Yes.
That's right.
All right, somebody needs to be doing the dances in the background.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and also the October cord cutting session, I've dropped the bit.ly link in there. So if you want, it's $10. It's going to be on October 30th, Friday, and you'll get some follow-up information once you register. All right?
Thank you,
everybody.
Drop that in the
that was great. Thank you so much. Everyone have a wonderful day.
All right.
Yes,
everyone.
half an hour. Truly
Yes,
appreciate
it's a half an
you.
hour.
Thank you so much for all that you do.
Thank you so
You
much.
are amazing.
Great
Thank
conversation.
you. Oh, thank you.
Bye, Shan. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.